This happened to me in the winter of 2019, when I was working as a security guard at Riverside Hospital in Oregon. I'm sharing this story because I still can't explain what happened that night. And honestly, it's the reason I'll never work hospital security again. For context, Riverside Hospital is old. Built in 1952, it's a sprawling 4-story building, with wings that have been added and closed off over the decades. The basement level, where this story takes place, was originally used for storage and the morgue, but most of it had been abandoned since the hospital expanded in the 80s. I was 23 at the time, fresh out of college and struggling to find work in my field. The security job paid decently for night shifts, and I needed the money. My supervisor, Gary, was this old-timer who'd worked there for 15 years. During my training week, he gave me one specific instruction that stuck with me. Never go down to the basement alone after midnight. If you absolutely have to, call for backup first. I asked him why, and he just gave me this look and said, "You'll understand if you stay long enough." Most nights were boring. I'd make my rounds, check doors, monitor cameras, and spend most of my time in the security office watching Netflix. The hospital was quiet after visiting hours, just nurses making rounds and the occasional emergency admission. But 3 months into the job, everything changed. It was a Tuesday night, February 12th. I remember because it was Lincoln's birthday, and the cafeteria had done this whole historical theme for lunch. Gary had called in sick, which meant I was the only security guard on duty. The night supervisor, Linda, assured me it would be fine. "Nothing ever happens on weeknights," she said. Around 11:45 p.m., I was doing my first round of the night. The hospital was dead quiet, that kind of silence that feels heavy. You know, I checked the main entrance, the entrance, the loading dock. Everything was locked and secure. At 12:30 a.m., the radio crackled to life. It was Linda. "Security to the basement level. We're getting motion alerts from the old storage area, Section B." My stomach dropped. Section B was in the abandoned part of the basement, past the active morgue and current storage areas. I'd only been down there once during training, and it had given me the creeps even in broad daylight. "Copy that," I responded, trying to keep my voice steady. "Is there any reason someone would be down there?" "Negative. That section's been locked for years. Probably just rats or a faulty sensor, but you need to check it out." I grabbed my flashlight and headed for the basement stairs. The elevators made too much noise at night, and I didn't want to disturb patients. As I descended the stairwell, the temperature dropped noticeably. The basement was always cold, but this felt different, colder. The main basement level was still in use, so it was well lit and relatively normal. The morgue was at the far end, its door closed with the red in use light off. I passed by quickly, not wanting to linger. Section B was through a set of double doors marked, "Authorized personnel only keep locked." I had the master key on my belt. The doors were heavy, the kind with pneumatic closers, and they groaned when I pushed them open. Behind those doors was darkness. The lights in this section had been disconnected years ago to save money. My flashlight beam cut through the black, revealing a long corridor with rooms branching off on either side. The walls were that industrial green color from the 50s, paint peeling in long strips. The floor was covered in a layer of dust, and in that dust, there were footprints, fresh footprints, leading deeper into the corridor. My heart started pounding. Someone was definitely down here. But who? And how did they get past the locked doors? I keyed my radio. "Linda, I have visual confirmation of an authorized presence in Section B. Fresh footprints in the dust. Requesting backup. Static." Then her voice, confused. "Say again. You're breaking up." I said I need backup. "Someone's down here." More static. Then nothing. The radio had gone dead. I checked it, the battery was full, but I couldn't get a signal. Great. I should have left right then. That would have been the smart move. But I was young and stupid, and I didn't want to look like a coward on my first solo night. I followed the footprints. The corridor stretched about 50 feet before ending at another set of doors. The footprints led right up to them. These doors were different, older, wooden, with small windows covered in wire mesh. A faded sign, Red Wing C. Psychiatric Ward, closed 1987. I didn't even know there had been a psychiatric ward down here. The doors were slightly ajar, just a few inches. Through the gap, I could see another dark hallway, and at the far end, maybe 100 feet away, there was a light. Not electric light, but something flickering, like a candle. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to leave, but I pushed the door open. The hinges didn't make a sound, which was somehow worse than if they'd creaked. The hallway beyond was lined with doors on both sides, each with a small window at eye level, old patient rooms. As I moved forward, my flashlight beam caught something on the walls. Writing, scratched into the paint. Hundreds of lines of text, all saying the same thing over and over. Keep the door closed. Keep the door closed. Keep the door closed. The scratches looked old, decades old, but they covered every inch of wall space, floor to ceiling. The flickering light was coming from the last room on the left. The door was open. I approached slowly, my hand hovering near the pepper spray on my belt. When I reached the doorway, I shined my light inside. The room was empty except for an old hospital bed frame and a single candle burning on the floor. But that wasn't what made my blood run cold. The walls were covered in photographs, hundreds of them, Polaroids and old prints, all pinned up with rusty thumbtacks, and every single photograph was of me walking into the hospital on my first day, me sitting in the security office, me doing my rounds, me in my car in the parking lot. Someone had been following me, photographing me, for months. I stumbled backward, my heart hammering in my chest. That's when I heard it. Footsteps, coming from deeper in the ward, slow, deliberate footsteps, and then a voice, barely above a whisper. Finally, I've been waiting for you. I ran. I didn't look back. Didn't try to see who was there. I just ran. Through the doors. Down the corridor. Back through Section B behind me. I could hear those footsteps. Faster now. Keeping pace. I slammed through the double doors and into the main basement. The lights were flickering. They hadn't been flickering before. I made it to the stairs and took them two at a time, bursting through the door onto the first floor. Nurses looked up, startled, as I sprinted past them to the security office. Linda was there, looking worried. Where have you been? I've been trying to radio you for 20 minutes. Someone's in the basement. I gasped. Section B, the old psych ward. They had pictures of me. Hundreds of pictures. She grabbed her radio and called for police. Within minutes, cops arrived. They searched the entire basement. Section B, the old psychiatric ward. Everything. They found the candle, still burning. They found the photographs, but they didn't find anyone. No signs of forced entry. No explanation for how someone got past the locked doors. The footprints I'd seen in the dust, gone. The floor looked like it hadn't been disturbed in years. Here's the part that still keeps me up at night. After the police investigation, hospital administration pulled the records for the old psychiatric ward. It had been closed in 1987 after a patient named Thomas died there. He'd been institutionalized for stalking and attempting to assault a young hospital employee. Thomas had covered his room in pictures of her, taken over months. The scratched writing in the hallways, that was from other patients, warning staff to keep Thomas's door locked. When they found him dead in his room, there was a single lit candle on the floor. According to the records, Thomas's room was the last one on the left. I quit the next day. I don't care if people think I'm crazy or if there's some logical explanation I'm missing. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. And sometimes, late at night, I still check my phone to make sure no one's taking pictures of me. Because whatever was down in that basement, I don't think it was still alive. And that somehow makes it so much worse.